So I didn't do one of these last week because I was just busy, man. I was doing stuff. I can get into that later. Today, I think I'm going to talk about something a little touchy for a lot of people. I keep running into these feminists who say things like, ugh, men. And then I kind of tune them out and start thinking, I know plenty of guys who are like, ugh, women, or other people who are like, oh, white people, or oh, black people, or oh, gay people, or straight people, and it's like our society is all wrapped up in carving out these groups, and then just hating the group that you're not in. And the crazy thing is, each one of these groups is doing the exact same thing. And the first time that I really experienced this in kind of an alarming, disturbing way, and I'm sure I experienced it plenty of other times, but this was the one that really was just like, holy crap, what the hell is going on here? This was many years ago, many years ago. I was driving in my truck, and I had like my best friend, who's this giant white dude, and his girlfriend, who's this tall black lady. And we're driving in the car, and I'm totally friends with these two. Like we are tight, man. We are buds. And I'm driving along in my truck, taking them to wherever, and suddenly I have to slam on the brakes because these five idiots run across the street right in front of my truck. And I slam on the brakes and I yell, "What the hell is wrong with these idiots?" Well, they get off the road and I carry on with my business, just being like, oh, seriously. We get to where we're going. We all get out of the truck and are doing our business, doing stuff. Like half an hour later, my friend, he pulls me aside and says, "Jaimie, you can't say things like that." And I'm just like, what? What do you... And I'm just racking my brain, like, we haven't even been talking. We've been like cutting wood. I got like ear things on. What are you talking about? He's like, don't pretend you don't know what you did. And I'm just like, this goes on for several minutes of him insisting that I know what I've done. And me just being like, finally, I'm like, okay, dude, you are like my best friend. Just pretend I'm an idiot and I've somehow forgotten what I did. Can you please just tell me? And he says, "Those guys who ran in front of your truck, you called them those people." And I'm just like, okay, when there's some people in front of me and I want to talk about those people, I say those people. Like those people who just ran in front of my truck. What is wrong with those people? He's like, "That's not what you meant. That is not what you meant." And I'm just like, okay, look, again, can you just pretend I'm an idiot and I have no idea what you're talking about? And he's like, "You said that because they're black." And I'm just like, they were all wearing hoodies. I have no idea what they look like. They ran in front of my truck and I almost hit them. Those people who ran in front of my truck. So for several minutes, I'm trying to convince him that first, I didn't even know these people were black. And second, I'm not calling them those people because they were black. Even if I knew they were black, I wouldn't call them those people, referring to the entire black population of the planet. I'm just talking about these five guys who ran in front of my truck and were being idiots. Those people did something stupid, and I'm saying, ugh, those people are idiots. So anyway, he absolutely refuses to acknowledge that maybe I wasn't being racist. And it just got left at that. Like we ended up ending the conversation. I just felt like gross. I mean, we've still never resolved it. This was like 20 years ago or something, maybe longer than that, 25 years ago. It was a while ago. Never got resolved. And it really freaked me out that he was so dead set on presuming that I was accusing this massive group of people because a few people right in front of me did something stupid. And at the time I was just like, that's a weird anomaly. What just happened there? And I kind of like put it aside. I've never forgotten about it, obviously, but I was just like, that was just weird. That won't happen again, right? But as the years go on, more and more things have happened like that, where it's just so absurdly normal to only talk about people in their groups. And I know it's super easy to do. It's super easy to talk about people in a group rather than people as individuals. But the thing is, all these people in these groups talking about the other group, they're all doing the same thing. What they're doing is blaming people who didn't do the thing. So, when I run into a feminist and she says, ugh, men, I'm just being blamed for something I didn't do. Or when some guy's like, ugh, women. Well, some women have done something bad. Maybe some woman has done something terrible to you. That does not mean all women have done it. If you see a black person do something, it does not mean all black people do that. If you see a white person do something, it does not mean all white people do that. This whole ism, racism, sexism, all that stuff. It's all based on the idea of blaming people who did not actually do the thing. And every one of these groups is doing the exact same thing. And it's crazy to watch. And in my opinion, I see it as a very cowardly thing to do. And I think this is how it became so popular. See, now if you have someone in front of you who is a truly evil person, like someone who is just a really bad person, you kind of don't really want to confront them, right? Because they might pull a gun and shoot you, punch you in the head. Who knows what this crazy evil person can do? So what's a much easier thing to do? Just blame people who look like that. So, if I see a woman doing something stupid, and she is like unhinged and a psycho and like just a truly evil person, it's really hard to deal with that person, but it's really super easy to turn around at a bunch of innocent women and say, "Oh, really? You have to do that?" And they're not gonna come back at me with anything. They're just gonna look at me confused, which is the exact same thing I did when my friend is like accused me of this thing, and I'm just like, "What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about." So I think this has all become so popular because people are such huge cowards. And instead of dealing with people as individuals, because it's kind of hard, you just deal with someone else in that group. Pick a superficial group that person belongs to and go find the weakest member of that group who's probably not doing anything wrong. So yeah, this whole society we have going on where we treat people as groups that they didn't even choose. I didn't choose to be a man. Of course, I could choose to not be a man anymore, kind of. But I didn't choose to be a man or choose to be white or choose to be bald or choose to be tall or any of this stuff. This is all stuff that I just got. That's just the way it is. That just happened. I think it's unfair for anyone to blame me for any of that stuff. Just like it's unfair for me to blame anyone for being a woman or for being short or for being, just anything that they just got. I think what we really need to do, and this is so important, and this is why it's so, I have a lot of difficulty in the world, just walking around and seeing this going on. But we really need to start treating people as individuals. So when you see someone do something terrible, and I've definitely been guilty of this at times in the past, instead of saying that person belongs to this group and that whole group of people is bad, say, no, this person right here is the one doing it. They are the bad person. Or this group of people who are doing the thing. This group of people who have chosen to do this bad behavior, those are the bad people. Not everyone who superficially resembles them in whichever particular way you choose. That's just crazy, right? And the really crazy thing is once you start seeing how this all works, because it's really simple, and once you kind of like peel back the wrapping paper and see what's going on in there, it's sort of like that movie. Oh, what's it called? It's like one of my favorite movies. They Live. They Live with Rowdy Roddy Piper. And in They Live, Rowdy Roddy Piper, that's not his name in the movie. We're just going to call him Rowdy Roddy Piper. He's just this guy, and he knows there's some problems in the world, but he's like, yeah, I'm still optimistic about things. There's some problems, but But then he gets these magic glasses, which are not actually magic. They're like sci-fi glasses, right? And when he puts on these sci-fi glasses, he sees that a lot of the people are actually aliens. And not just aliens, they are evil aliens who are screwing up everything, and they want to kill him. That's kind of what it's like when you start to see what's going on out in the world, and you see people doing these crazy behaviors that they're not even consciously aware of usually. But once you become consciously aware of it, it's like you have these glasses that let you see what's going on, and it is crazy. I wonder what would happen if everyone suddenly got those glasses and everyone could see how ridiculous things that are going on are. I don't know if it would fix anything. Maybe people are just stuck on being crazy. Anyway, what else is going on? Lots of stuff. I don't know. Lately, actually, particularly today, the last few days, every time I kind of finish working on something, I'm like, okay, what do I work on next? My brain is just like, oh, there's like 250 different things to work on. I'm not even sure what to pick. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Oh, you know what? Oh no, I already finished it. Yeah, I finished my dinner. It's sitting there cooling off. Let's see what you guys are talking about here. B, what's up, Jaimie? How's it going, man? Mr. Landville, what's up? Still got plans for a trampoline in this house? Yes, of course. Are you kidding? Yeah, when I do the third floor, I want to put a trampoline right up there. I'll probably not build it into the floor, though. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to build it into the floor like my last house, because the third floor, like there's space for a fourth floor, but I'm not going to put that in. There's just going to be a really high ceiling in the third floor. So I want to put just like the whole trampoline up there. And then I can move it out of the way for basketball games or whatever and put it back. Let's see. Hey, Jaimie, good to be here on your live. Thanks for coming, Sean. I hate race. It should be just one race that's important, the human race. Can't we all just get along? Well, yeah, I can, exactly. Well, here's the thing. Like people are different. Men are different than women. People are tall and short, different colors and all this stuff. And I don't understand why any of that ever has to be a problem. Like if everyone was exactly the same, it would be stupid. I think we shouldn't be concerned about who looks like you or who was born in the right place or who was born in the wrong place and all this stuff that people have no control over. Like that should just be stuff you appreciate. That's just like the variety in the world that makes the world interesting. What we should really care about is this individual a good individual? Or is this individual a bad individual? And like look at people as individuals, not as these ridiculous groups that people. And it's all propaganda, man. Like this all comes down to propaganda by people who just want to get the general populace fighting amongst each other so they don't realize how much they're being bent over and stuffed up the thing, you know. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe we should, whatever. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, we gotta treat each other. We gotta focus on treating people as individuals. And I totally have done this. I've totally been guilty of meeting someone and just being ready to dump them into whatever stereotype it looks like they're going to fall into. And you know what? A lot of times that's useful Because like a lot of times you meet someone, like probably like 95% of the time, you meet someone, you can kind of tell right away that they're this stereotype. They almost always fit it. But if you always presume they're going to be that stereotype, then you miss the good people. So this is something I've been focusing on lately, trying to make sure when I talk to people, I don't lose track of the fact that they're an individual with individual thoughts, and they have their own thing. They don't belong to a group. Yeah. I'm not even move this out of the way. I'm gonna sit on my counter here. Oh, glad I made it to the live stream. Hope you're doing well. How's the paddle 2.0 design performing? Oh, the paddle is great. Yeah, I like it a lot. So that paddle that I based the paddle on, the one with the orange ends, that was my favorite paddle. But now my favorite paddle is the new one with, just the rounded ends is the only difference. Otherwise, it's the same as the orange one. Yeah, really good. I like it a lot. I'm going to make some more of those. I have an aluminum tube somewhere around here. I think I might be able to get 4 paddles out of it. Definitely 3, maybe 4. Hey man, I just quit my job to go work at the haunted house. I'm an 800-year-old vampire. Okay, good work. Hello, Lois. What's going on? Lois, you emailed me, and I have not emailed you back yet because I just have not been on my computer much, just doing other things. But sorry. I'm going to do that tonight. I totally don't have anything to do tonight, so that actually worked out. I saw a video on YouTube yesterday that is 1 year old of kids finding Jaimie's my old house in Vermont, right? Jumping on the trampoline. I hope they're having fun. Yeah, when people ask me about my house in Vermont, kind of a lot. I mean, not all the time, but it's a fairly big subject of conversation that people like to bring up. But I never have anything much to say about it because once I sold that place and left, like it wasn't mine anymore. So I have not kept up with it at all. But I hope someone's enjoying it. I hope the idea of race is gone by the end of my lifetime. It's just getting old and we could all do without it. Oh, yeah, the whole racist thing and the whole sexist thing and just all this woke crap is just getting so tired. Like, I don't know how they keep beating the drum and people keep listening. I guess you get young people who don't know what's going on and you convince them that they should be racist and sexist and blah, blah, blah. And, they present it in a way that you're the good person if you're doing it in the right way, And then, yeah. We've got some very bad leadership in the world. And it's a big problem. Let's see. Kobieta. I gotta turn up my brightness here a little bit. Kobieta Prakujaka. I have no idea how to say that. It says, "Can I join you?" I don't know. Do you want to live here or something? I don't know. Send me an email. Join me in what way? If you're serious, you actually, I want to come to your island. Well, send me an email. My email address is down here. It's the adventurebuildermovie@gmail.com, something like that. It should be in the description. But yeah, if you're not a psycho, yeah, you can come visit or tell me what you're talking about. Let's see. I hope you have a nice evening. I hope I have a nice evening too. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do tonight. I'm either going to spend most of the night. Okay, hold on. The lid on my hot sauce bottle is not quite on. Okay, there. It's been bugging me for the last 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm either going to stew in my brain about what plans I'm doing next, or I might just veg out and watch a movie or something and just turn everything off and just relax and just let everything chill out. I've been going pretty hard lately. just working really hard. Usually when I'm not making that many videos, it's because I'm working really hard. I was actually trying to lose some weight because, I didn't feel fat or anything, but, I was a little while ago, I don't know, a month or two ago, I was like, I want to start eating more so I can have more energy. And when I started eating more, I jumped up like 20 pounds to like 200 pounds, right? Which is great, except I'm in a tropical place and it's hot, and just being that heavy, I just get hot too easily, right? So the last few weeks I was like, all right, I want to lose some weight. So I just started working harder. Like this morning, I woke up at 5, whatever, when the sun came out. Actually, I was up before that. But when the sun came out and I could see outside, I went and did digging for 2 hours. And I've just been really active. And I've been feeling like I'm not getting so hot anymore, and I could tell like I'm getting leaner because you can see my muscles more, So I'm like, okay, I must be losing some weight. But then a little bit ago, I was at my neighbor's house, and there's a scale over there, and I'm like, oh, let me see how much I weigh. So I stand on it. I'm like 200 pounds still. So I think I lost some fat, but I'm still gaining muscle, and I don't know what's going on. Like, I used to have difficulty maintaining this body weight, but now I don't know. I've been like, maybe someone's been putting steroids in my food or something, but like, I'm getting all this muscle really easily. I'm not sure what's going on exactly. Maybe it's that I don't know. I have no idea. I just eat normal food. Oh, the one thing that has changed in the last year compared to previously, I eat a lot more meat now. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just I'm eating more meat, so I'm gaining muscle more easily. I feel like I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, I think I lost enough fat that I'm not getting so hot anymore, and still at that weight, which is great because I'm like, it's nice to have that much strength when I'm doing all this work outside. All right, let's see. Ken says, working in a prison, I try not to say inmate, but rather I say people. Exactly, man. Totally. Yeah. Treat people as people. That's an excellent example. That's a great example. America has been very PC now. We're supposed to refer to them as adults in custody. Yeah, I love what you said, though. Why not just refer to them as human beings? Treat people like human beings. Like one of the easiest ways to control a population is to just pit them against each other, and you do that by dividing them into groups. You just have all these catchphrases for all these groups, and then people hear it, and suddenly they're like, oh, I'm in this group. Oh, this is my team. Oh, that group over there, they're the other group, so we're against them, right? And then it's just a big distraction. All these pointless conflicts between people. It distracts people from the real problems, the stuff we really have to fix. Anyway, Lois K. Okay, yeah. Hurley D'Souza. Hey, I would love to visit your island. Well, send me an email. My email should be right down here. We can talk about it. I want to build, I was talking a while ago about building a guest house. I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I didn't do a thing last week. I was busy. But yeah, I think I'm getting close to building that now. I was going to do it a while ago, but then I was like, I'm not going to have any guests for a while. So let me work on some other stuff. But my kayak operation is, getting close to wrapping up. And yeah, I think one of the next things, maybe the next thing I do after I get a few things wrapped up, is going to be building the guest house. And that's one of those things where it's like, once I do that, I really want to focus on it. And there are a couple things that I'm working on right now that are kind of getting to the point where they're basically finished. I'm going to have to come up, with a new thing. And I think guest house is probably next on the list. Partly because I want to build a guest house here, and I want that to be like the model for the cabins I make in my campground, out in the jungle. Let's see. I want to come join. I want to come and join this family to live together. Kobieta Bracadrick. Where are you getting these crazy names? Well, I mean, if someone wants to join my family and live with me, you'd probably have to be female and have some nice boobies, and and we'd have to get along really well. But I mean, like, people can come visit. I have a friend who came to visit for a while, although I mean, he came to visit with the intention of staying, and he's been here for a couple of years now. Not in my house. He has his own property now, and he's doing his own thing. But he's like my best friend, and it's awesome having a close friend as a neighbor. So yeah, is it a situation like that, or I don't know. Anyway, if I'm always up for helping a cool person move down here, because I would love to have more awesome neighbors. Send me an email. Mr. Landfill posts my email there. Yes, that's my email. That's my website, which I have not updated in a while. I'll have to do it. How much for your kayaks? I don't know. Well, a kayak is gonna have to cost like at least $500. Below that, it's not worth making it, because a lot of that goes into the materials and all that stuff, and then it's kind of a lot of work to make one. It would have to be it would have to be above $500, or like at least $500. But I don't know. I have to think about it. I don't know. Why do you want one? I was looking up sea kayaks the other day, and they're like $3,000. Now those come with all kinds of fancy equipment and stuff. But anyway, I'm not nowhere. I wouldn't sell them for anywhere near that much. Let's see. But yeah, I got to sell them for something that's going to be worth actually making them. So it's got to be over $500. But I haven't figured out the exact number. I got to figure out the exact cost and all that, whatever. What's your favorite movie or show? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is Gurren Lagann, which is this anime. It's a 32 episode anime. I'm sure many people are familiar with it, but if you're not, I'll just give you the beginning of the story. I'm not going to wreck it for you or anything. But there's this underground village, and it is like underground. Like there is no sky. They are well underground. And there's this kid and this older guy, not older guy, but like, I don't know, Simone is like 12 or something. I'm gonna screw up the ages. And then he's got this teenage friend, maybe he's like 18 or something. And they're like bros, they're like best buds, and they live in this underground city where life is not that great. It's underground in a hole, and there's earthquakes. They don't know where they're coming from and whatever. So the older friend, he wants to escape to the surface, which he swears exists because he went there with his dad once when he was little, and blah blah blah. He's always trying to convince his little 12-year-old friend to escape into the to the surface. And then this is all in the first episode, so I don't feel like ruining anything. And then this giant freaking robot crashes through the ceiling of their village, like a huge robot, like a big mecha with a big ridiculous face on it. And the 12-year-old kid, he's a digger. He's always digging tunnels to make the village bigger. And he happened to find another robot and some other stuff, and they use the robot it just goes from there and gets crazier and crazier as you go. But you got to watch out for episode 8. It's a little bit sad. When I got to episode 8, I turned it off for like a year and a half before I ended up actually watching the rest. Anyway, I don't want to wreck it. Let's see, movies. Okay, the first movie that comes to mind is Aliens, which it's just a really good movie. I don't know if I would say that's my favorite movie ever, but it is a really good movie. And one of the things that I love about it, I mean, besides the amazing special effects, like if we're just talking about in terms of like most amazingly well-made movie, like great acting, great effects, amazing atmosphere. Like the director was like, oh, it was James Cameron. It was like, ooh. And then, just all that stuff was super amazing. And then what I loved about the story was that Ripley had a situation that was impossible, but she did it anyway, but that's a really good movie. And then another one, actually, I like this other movie for the exact same reason. This other movie I'm thinking of is, in the United States, it was called The Blood of Heroes. But in Europe, it was called The Salute of the Jugger. Anyway, if you look up either of those names, you'd find it. It's sort of a B movie. It's got Rutger Hauer in it and Joan Chen. Oh, I love Rutger Hauer. But anyway, they play this, it's a post-apocalyptic movie, and there's this team of juggers. They play this sport in the future, in this post-apocalyptic future, where it's just a very violent sport. And I don't want to wreck it because the story is really good. And, it's just all about overcoming insurmountable odds. Really, really kind of inspirational movie. Plus, it's post-apocalyptic craziness, which always looks super cool, unless you're not into that aesthetic. But if you can get over that, it's a really inspirational story. I don't know. I like a lot of movies, even though I don't watch movies that often. Jaimie's a stud. Oh, thanks, Rusty Shackelford. Jaimie always wins. Jaimie does not always win, but, well, Jaimie always wins in some way. I always try to find some way to win. Even when I'm losing hard, I try to take some lessons and get some kind of win out of the situation. Okay. What's up, Lois? Okay, Sean says, question. When you run, how do you track your progress? Like, do you run for 40 minutes and then stop? Or like a bunch of laps around your land? I ran 2 miles in 26 minutes the other day, and it hurt. Well, what I say about running is probably not going to be that useful for you, because I did so much running. Like that was kind of my life for several years. Like during high school, I did a bunch of sports, and I had other things going on in my life. A lot of negative things were going on in my life. And when I think about high school, the good thing in my life was running. And that ended up being what I put all my effort into. I was just like, there's all this hell going on around me, but here's something I can focus on where it will be beneficial for my future. Like it will, it got me into university. It made it so I didn't really have to pay much for it, and which turned out to not be such a great thing. But more importantly, it got me in really good shape. And so I was like, this is something useful. So I put all my energy into it. So I did a lot of running. And one of the things my coach did, which I didn't believe this was going to work when he told me, but I was just like, all right, you say it's going to work. Let's try it. He would have us run, and he would make us tell him what time we ran. So he's like, all right, you're going to run 8 400s. That was the most brutal workout. 8 400s. 400 meters is like a lap around an outdoor track, quarter mile. So we do 400 meters, take a 1 or 2 minute rest, depending on the day, and repeat 8 times. And usually, always in the middle, we take a longer rest, like 5 or 10 minute rest, just so we could get a little bit fresh and go hard again. Anyway, he would be like, okay, what time did you run? And we're like, at first we were like, I don't know. He's like, just take a guess. Come on. I don't know. 65 seconds. He's like, not bad. 63 and a half. But by the end of he made us do this all the time. Within a couple months, I could tell him what my time was on just about anything, down to the 10th of a second. So, and I still retain some of that. Like I could just kind of feel my pace. So if I'm running something, I know if I'm going faster than the one before or the previous day or whatever, just because he made us keep telling him what the time was. And I still think it's so amazing that like a human being can run like, and this would be like I could run like a kilometer, and I could tell him, that was 2 minutes, 54 seconds and a half, and he'd be like, "Yep, dead on." And he'd show me the watch when I couldn't believe it. It's just amazing that a human brain can do that. But humans are awesome. We can do crazy cool stuff. Anyway, so for me to track my progress in terms of running, I don't really need any stopwatch or anything. I can just feel it. But let's see. If you're kind of starting out and you don't have that super like whatever crazy thing my coach stuffed into my brain, if you want to track your progress, let's see, you ran 2 miles in 26 minutes the other day and it hurt. It should hurt. Okay. You want to get like a running program going that you can do where you're going to make progress and get better. First, I'm just going to try to do this really rudimentary. Give yourself 3 hard days every week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, hard running days. Tuesday, Thursday, make it like easy running days, like just to like kind of loosen up and get your body to relax again. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you go hard. And on the weekend, you basically rest. So you got to recover anything you've damaged and whatever. And for your Monday, Wednesday, Friday workouts, it really depends on what you're going for. If you say you did 2 miles in 26 minutes and it was hard, it was brutal, make that one of your weekly workouts. Make another one of them, run 2 individual miles with a few minutes rest between, and then make another one like 4 half miles with a few minutes rest between, or even like 8 quarter miles. That workout is brutal. The 8 by 400. But yeah, it really helps to mix it up so you're not always doing the same thing. Because if you always run the same way, you end up getting repetitive stress injuries. So if you want to be able to run distance, like some days you want to run either the full distance you want to run or close to it, or something that's comparable, like a distance thing. And one day, at least one day, you want to do something that's significantly faster, like way faster. So say you want to train for a marathon. Like one day, maybe you'd run a marathon every week, or maybe a half a marathon, or something long-ish that's hard. Probably like half a marathon. Save the real marathon for the real thing. But then one day, you want to do something that's a lot faster, that's going to get your legs used to going a faster speed, but it's also going to put a lot more stress on your body and on your joints. But make sure you give yourself enough rest that you can really focus on having good running form so you don't get injured. And this one of the main things about this is it will keep you from getting injured. Because if you always do the same thing, oh, you little bugger. How much did I just get disconnected from? Anyway, what I was saying is, if you're always running the same distance, kind of the same speed, you're putting the same amount of stress on your muscles and your joints and your tendons and everything. And your body will adapt to that and become just strong enough to be able to do that, which means you're just barely strong enough to be able to handle that. So if there's any little, like you step on a stick or something, like you'll twist an ankle really easily, you get injured easily. So you definitely want to have like 1 or 2 days every week, like maybe Monday, Wednesday, where you're doing something significantly faster for a much shorter distance, so that your body gets used to a much higher degree of stress, so that when you actually run your long distance thing, your body can handle it real easy, so you don't get injured. And then, of course, the other things, you just get your body used to going faster. But yeah, I could go on about this for a while. If you want to email me, I can help you out with a training schedule or whatever. But you can also find that stuff online easily. I'd really like to see your farm island on video sometime. Well, you've seen it when I've been cutting wood with a chainsaw in the jungle. That's that property over there. Let's see. I build metal barges for a living. Cool. As a welder, I make $26 an hour. Good fiberglass work, like what you are doing for the kayaks. Charge double that. Well, I don't know how much well, maybe I should just shut up and listen to you. I don't want to charge $50 an hour because I don't need to make that kind of money living this lifestyle, But I do kind of want to make a bit of money because online revenues have gone down, just kind of steadily over the years. So I do want to make a bit of money offline. Yeah, I'm not sure how much I'll charge. I'll just try to come up with something that I think is worth doing it. And then it also depends on how nice people are going to want their kayaks. Because if I'm selling one, I'm going to want to make sure it's real smooth and real nice, Like my kayak has some, like little pits and stuff, and I painted it with a roller because I'm just like, whatever, it's just mine. But if I'm doing it for other people, I got to make them really nice. But yeah, that's good maybe that's a good kind of like rough guide. You make $26 an hour welding. It does take a fair amount of time to make one of those kayaks. It's like 4 hours of like just fiberglassing to make, the basic kayaks, not counting cutting out all the pieces of fiberglass and getting everything set up and ready to go and waxing. And then once the fiberglass comes out, I got to trim around all the edges and then sand everything and then paint and rivet it together. Yeah, there is a fair amount of time involved in it. I am super happy with those kayaks though. They're really, really nice. I've made 3 so far. Mine is obviously finished. It's been in the video. One of my daughters is almost finished. It's painted and put together and riveted. I just have to silicone the seam so it doesn't leak. When I did mine, I siliconed it and then riveted it together. But on hers, I'm going to try riveting it together and then squirting the silicone in there. I don't know if it matters, but we'll see. And then my son's kayak, he's only 6. He's not even big enough to like reach out and paddle. His is almost finished paint. We just have to paint the inside and then we can put it together. And then I want to make at least 1 more, maybe 2 more, just for my family. And then by that point, I kind of have it worked out, how to make them pretty streamlined and stuff efficiently and all that. Jaimie, your kids are going to turn out so cool living free. Yeah, when just the other day, I was looking at my kids thinking, God, they're having such a good childhood. Like, I see their faces and they're like not filled with rage and frustration like I was, like I did a lot of meditation when I was a kid to keep myself kind of like not going crazy, but I was just so frustrated all the time and just angry, really angry. I don't know how I held it together sometimes, but I just like put myself in this bubble mentally and was just like, just focus on my thing, block it all out. But yeah, my kids are just like, they're running around and smiling and happy. And I'm just like, that is so awesome. Yeah, if you have kids, man, don't let them get sucked into that screen time nonsense. And I'd say keep them out of public school as much as possible. Yeah, it's just really cool seeing kids grow up not in a environment that crushes them. Like they are free to be creative and imaginative and just be kids and like learn and be curious and figure things out. It's so cool. And like, you know, my 6-year-old was painting his kayak, and he spent hours painting. He put like 3 coats on the bottom and 2 or 3 coats on the top. He spent hours painting. And I wasn't expecting him to have that much patience, but he was so excited about it. It's like, oh, I get this kayak and I'm gonna paint it, do all this stuff. And it's so cool to see that. It's so cool to see kids who are like interested and have an attention span and just totally thriving. Let's see, your son's gonna be like a mini Jaimie, building more concrete domes and expanding your property. I hope, man. Yeah, I hope that at least a few of my kids kind of want to stay here and just continue what I've been working on. That's, you know, obviously my kids can do whatever they want. If they want to leave and go do something else, fine. But one of my main goals in coming to this place was to find a place where I could build something for my children. So, you know, if nothing else, they will have a home that's safe. Well, you know, nothing is really safe. I mean, but like relatively safe. You know, a place where they can live and be self-sufficient, and you know, even if terrible things happen around the world and stuff, and you know, food supplies get ruined, or you know, power goes out everywhere. You know, there's a lot of things that can happen in the world. But I wanted to give them a place where they have a real home, you know? This is something that used to be a common thing. Like it used to be a common situation where parents would pass down land and house and farm or whatever to the kids who would expand it and pass it on to their kids, and just through the generations they would keep, every generation would make it into their own thing and you know, expand on it and keep it going. And I think that's a really important thing. I think that's something we should not have given up. You know, now there's so much emphasis on people. This is going to sound contrary to what I was saying at the beginning of this video, but there's so much emphasis on individuality today, on people being individuals, that a lot of people are just giving up on families, or just not being part of a family, or a lot of times even like parents. So in my situation, my parents were always like, you guys are going to turn 18 and leave. You know, you're not going to want to be here. You don't want to go. And we were just totally encouraged to just go away. And I think, like, I get where that's coming from, but I think it's a mistake. I think it's really important to have something going that is intergenerational, that goes through time like that, and you know, gets passed down to children and to the next generation, because that's how positive traditions get made. And today people have so few traditions that they're susceptible to all this nonsense propaganda around, you know, because people just, you know, like when I left home, I didn't really feel like a home when I was growing up, but when I left home, you know, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to do, or I was just like blank slate, no idea what I'm doing, a lot of anger and frustration, but like no real positive traditions to carry with me. I didn't have any morality. I was kind of starting to figure out my own morality, but like there wasn't any instilled in me. I didn't have anything coming with me, you know. It was just like, there you go, dumped out into the world, deal with it. And I made a ton of mistakes that I could have easily avoided had I had some kind of guidance. And things like, you know, the first time I built my own house, I was 30 something. And I feel like that's something you should do in your teen years. Like by the time you're 20, I feel like you should have built your house, or maybe in your 20s, like sometime around when you're becoming an adult. instead of just being thrown out into the world and being like, okay, there you go. I feel like it would be much more useful to be like, all right, you're becoming an adult now. Let's build you a house. And not just throw you out and say, go do it yourself. No, I want to help my kids build their house. I want to be like, what do you want your house to be like? And they're going to say, I don't know, like this. I'll be like, draw whatever you want. Draw whatever kind of house you'd want. And then we'll work back from that to something realistic, and we can come up with a plan and figure out how to do it. And you're going to learn all this cool stuff about how the world works and how to make things happen and how to get things done. And then you're going to have a place where you can actually live. Like, for a lot of my life, having a home was like just this dream that seemed so far away. And a lot of young people are like that. Like, you talk to people growing up today who try to get jobs and they're like, this job does not pay enough for rent or a mortgage or any of this blah. Like, how am I going to live? What am I going to do? Like, it would be so useful to have a house when you're 20 that you helped build, that you know how to maintain, you know how to take care of it, you know how to fix it up and whatever. Like, that's such a useful thing. I would have been so excited to have that when I was a kid. That would have been way more useful than going to university and pissing away all this money and time, learning what is wrong with, that's what I learned in university. I learned what was wrong with the world. I learned where all the horrible people were coming from. It would have been much more useful to build a house with my dad, that was for me. That would have been so cool. So I want to do that kind of thing for my kids. Anyway, I'm going off on a big tangent here. It's an important tangent, though. Let's see. Sean, that's epic. How big are the barges? I have a floating home that's 60 by 20 fiberglass. No way! Wait, I want to know. Can you send me a picture of your home? Rusty Shackelford. I would love to see this floating home. 60 by 20 fiberglass, 60 by 20 feet? Yeah, it's got to be feet. That wouldn't be meters. That'd be too big. 60 by 20 feet. That's pretty good size, man. I want to see this floating home. And yeah, I would love to see these barges too, Sean. Can I see pictures of these barges? That's cool. Oh, okay. Rusty Shackelford. Jaimie, my floating home is fiberglass over plywood frame, catamaran, 60 by 20. The plywood is rotting out. It's filled with foam. What would you do? More fiberglass layers in the pontoons? Oh, okay. So you got plywood with fiberglass over it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just put more fiberglass on it. That other than starting again, obviously, but yeah, if you want to keep the same thing, I'm making a lot of presumptions here, but I'm presuming it's just got like the wood frame, the wood pontoon inside with fiberglass over it, trying to protect it, but the wood is disintegrating inside. So now the fiberglass, if you make it thick enough, it'll keep its shape. So yeah, I would totally do that. And the nice thing about if it doesn't have to drive a lot, you don't have to worry too much about it being super smooth, right? Aliens is a great movie. Thanks for your answer. Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, there's a bunch of great movies out there. There's a bunch of terrible movies out there too. You know what's funny? I was hesitant to let my kids see Aliens, Predator, all these kind of scary movies. But one day, I had, what's it called? The Tomorrow War. And I was like, I don't know how bad it's going to be, how scary. I can watch it with my kids. If it seems like it's getting too scary, I'll, distract them with something else, do something else. But they watched that movie. In the Tomorrow War, there's these monster alien things that are like dogs that have like tentacles coming out of their back and giant teeth, mouth. They're all scary, right? After the movie, my kids are talking about like riding on these dogopusses the octodogs. That's what they were called, octodogs, because they had all these tentacles, like 4 legs and 4 tentacles, octodogs. They didn't know they were actually called white spikes. I had to look it up. But they're like, nah, they're octodogs, and the big ones are dogopusses. So they're talking about they want to ride around on these dogopusses and octodogs. So I'm like, they can handle any of these alien movies. So we did watch Alien recently. Yeah, none of them were scared. Although I did wait till my 3-year-old fell asleep. So I don't know. Maybe she would have gotten scared. But Aliens is a little scarier than Alien, because there's that scene when Newt and Ripley are in the room with the 2 aliens and they're trapped in there. Well, that was always stressful for me when I was a kid, even though I knew they were getting out of it. Okay, Sean says, Rusty Shackelford, we are build a double rock carry barge with a huge ramp like a drawbridge and a pilot house 50 feet long will hold up to 80 tons. Sean, that sounds awesome. I kind of want to ask you, like, how much something like that costs and how long it would last, because I would love to have something like that. Like, I kind of want to have a big, probably catamaran, but like maybe a big barge, big ship, something that I could hypothetically move my family onto and live on it, if we had to. But if we didn't have to, we could still hang out on it and do cool stuff on it and whatever. Like, I feel like that would be a really cool thing to set up, set up some big survival boat. And if we never have to survive on it, it would still be cool. It would still be a fun thing to do, and useful. Sean, that's too good, bro. What an awesome thing to see once it's finished. How long build time on a 50-foot barge? Yeah, I would love to know more about this whole barge situation. Sean, I think I have you on my Facebook. Do I have you on my Facebook? I don't know. I want to see some pictures of this stuff. Pick your brains. Lois, you're hilarious. Oh, man. Okay, Sean says we are 8 months in and there are 4 guys welding, not done yet. Oh man, 4 guys welding for 8 months. You're still working working on this barge. That's crazy. Seems under manpowered for that. Okay, Sean says, Jaimie, I'm not trying to be a runner. I'm much more of a swimmer. But yes, working out is something I just had to do at this point. 42 years old. 42, you're a baby. Oh, you're a baby. Thanks for the tips. I run to pump my heart and lungs. Awesome, man. Yeah, the main thing whenever you're running is don't get injured. That's why I say always make sure you do something faster and harder than you really, really want to do. Like at least once a week, Well, I mean, it depends how often you run. Like once every week or two, just do something kind of fast and hard. Fast and hard. Just to get your body used to that kind of stress, What mammal can the longest nonstop? Are you trying to say what mammal can run the longest nonstop? I'm pretty sure that's humans. Can't humans? I think humans can run the longest distance nonstop because we don't have fur. I mean, I'm pretty furry for a human, but fairly hairless. I'm not like a wolf was way hairier. Which makes me wonder, in a cold environment, what mammal can run the longest distance? Because the thing is, in a warm environment, a human can go the furthest because we have this huge sweating area. We can get rid of heat fast. So supposedly, if I see a deer in the forest and I start chasing it, it will drop dead from overheating before I have to stop. If I'm in good shape, and like a human can do that. But I don't know, maybe there's something that can run further. Rusty, not many young, hungry welders here. Ah, Sean, yes. Trying to find competent help is difficult. I am not using Starlink for internet, Hurley. I am using Panetma. And the tower I get internet from, well, I get internet bounced from my neighbor, which gets it from a tower that's like 15 miles away, something like that. And, I was on the roof aiming this thing. And once you get it aimed just right, it's a dish that aims right at the tower. It works really well. I love Jaimie's long form answers. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not rambling on too much for you. That's great. Oh, someone retracted comments. What are you retracting comments for? Talking about my butt is too big or something? Rusty Shackelford says, building a generational property is every man's dream for their kids. Exactly, man. That's like built into us, built into our DNA. And that's being stolen by a lot of propaganda telling young people that don't be under your parents' thumb. Don't let them make you do stuff. Don't let them give you love and like help you have a good life. No, you need to go do something else. Like it's silly because when you really get down to it, the world we're in today is very spoiled. Like the idea that you're always going to have a roof over your head and you're always going to have food, that's not something that happens throughout time all the time. Like throughout most of history, that is not a given. Like that's a very special circumstance we find ourselves in. And who knows how long that's going to last. So, historically speaking, having a multi-generational home is super useful. So you don't have to start from scratch. So every kid you have doesn't have to start from scratch. Every generation doesn't have to restart figuring everything out. But yeah, it's totally not encouraged today. It's very strongly discouraged. Again, because it's easy to control a population that's separated. So, if there are people trying to control you through media, propaganda, commercials, whatever, it's much easier to do that if they're not fighting with your family. So all they do is convince people that your family is not important. Family is super important. Family is super duper important. Take care of your family. Those are the people you can rely on. Hopefully. Jaimie. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Jaimie, now that you have the mold, you can make 15 of the kayaks and have someone in town sell them on commission. I know you have other skills, but $500 a kayak sounds fair. I bet you could sell. Yes. Although I feel like selling them is going to be the easier part, easier than making them. I know someone who might be making them. Well, we'll see how it goes. But he says he wants to make them. I'm pretty sure I could sell them fairly easily because I have these older kayaks that I made years ago that were not that great shaped. I mean, they're all right, and I would drive them around, and people were always asking, how much for that? How much for that? Well, and even now that like I've been telling people, oh yeah, I'm working on these kayaks. One of the first things people always ask is, how much would you want for one of those? So I feel like it's not going to be that hard to sell them. And over the last year or so, while I was thinking about maybe making kayaks, I would ask people who were selling kayaks, or I'd see them listed online. Those things are expensive, like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. So yeah, if I'm somewhere between like $500 and $1,000, I feel like I should be able to sell them as long as I'm doing a good job on them. Let's see, what was it? What kind of crazy language are you guys writing in? I do not understand that language at all. AF and Mr. Landfill. You have to fill me in. Rusty, look up Kusa board. It's better than ply for marine applications. Well, Sean, I think if he's already got the rotting wood inside there, he's probably not going to replace it. But yeah, in terms of building something new, what is Kusa board? Is that the honeycomb stuff? The honeycomb stuff is pretty cool. Anyway, Rusty Shackelford says, ha ha, my float home was custom built in 1989. The top is in great shape and has a new roof. I think more fiberglass is the answer for the pontoons. Yeah, just cover them in fiberglass. If you make it thick enough, they'll hold their shape. Let's see. Oh, you guys are just talking amongst yourself. All right. Yeah, Jaimie, I'll send you a picture of the float home fiberglass is beauty. It's filled with marine closed cell foam with large styrofoam blocks encased in the 60-foot pontoons. Well, that sounds pretty unsinkable. Yeah, if you just put some more fiberglass on the outside, sounds like it should be fine. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, has a wood stove, dishwasher, and laundry. Dude, that sounds awesome. You should drive it down here so I can see. Ha. I don't even know where you are. It's probably not something it sounds like it's not something you drive around much. The front deck is all soft and spongy because it's not undercover. The back deck is solid. Soft and spongy. Yeah. Put some more fiberglass on that. You know what you could do? Maybe that stuff he was talking about, but you could put put 1 layer of fiberglass on the spongy stuff, and then put a layer of honeycomb stuff. Maybe that's what the Kusa stuff he's talking about, and then fiberglass over that. That would make it rigid again. Fast and hard is good advice. Well, you don't always want to go fast and hard. Sometimes, you want to ease into things nice and slow, get things all warmed up, and you don't just want to jam it in there and just go full force because anyway. What's for dinner? Oh, this was kind of a lazy dinner. Here's my dinner. It probably is not even going to look like much. That's cheese on the top, and under the cheese is, come on, the lighting is terrible here. It's making my food look like crap. Anyway, it's just, I cooked some ground beef, put some tomato sauce in it, a bunch of leaves from the garden, oregano, some spinachy stuff. So I made some tomato sauce and then put some cheese on top. It's basically like crustless pizza, or maybe casserole. I don't know. It's just like a bunch of tasty stuff in a pot. I'm just gonna eat it. Mr. Landfill, you will own nothing and like it. Yeah, that's the message that's being dumped on us over and over. You will own nothing and you will like it. Thomas Guerra says, yes, a human, 350 miles, 80 hours, 22 minutes. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Landfill says the language was Persian. Mr. Landfill, do you know Persian or are you using a translator? Andrew McDonald on YouTube welding his own home on a barge. That's pretty sweet. Found him watching SV Seeker. I wonder how Doug's doing. I haven't talked to him in a while. Hopefully he's doing great. His boat, that thing came out awesome. Sean says, Jaimie, I'm recording the cockpit of my sailboat with Kusa. It's fiberglass. Fiberglass and rubber kind of stuff. Super hard, not heavy, and will never rot like plywood. I gotta look up this stuff too. Kusa, Coosa. Let me see. I got some papers over here. I don't know if that's a brand name or a whatever, but hopefully I can find what you're talking about. Sean Laurie, that sounds like that composite decking they have. Lois says, how's your heart feel right now? Boom, 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 boom. Still going. I don't know, feels good, I think. I mean, physically? Yeah, physically my heart's doing good. Oh, non-physical. How's my heart feeling right now? Okay, to tell you the truth, I spend a lot of time keeping myself busy, so I'm not thinking about other things. But there are some things that I have some frustrations. One is, just stuff I've been talking about, just the craziness of the world. Like I feel like I got the magic glasses from They Live, and the Rowdy Piper glasses, where you can see all these problems that most people are just either not aware of or just ignoring. And I'm just like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? So that kind of weighs on me a little bit. Although it's not too bad because I'm here. I'm not right in it most of the time. And then, I am a little lonely. Maybe lonely is not even the right word. I feel like something's missing, like, I'm a man, I want a woman, like very, very basic thing. I don't think I have to explain more. Everyone gets what I'm talking about. That's something I'm definitely missing in my life. However, I'm also very careful about who I let into my life now, which is why I've been single for a while. Because, yeah, it's just, I really like my life. I can't let someone mess it up. Let's see. I don't know, but overall, I'm happy. Like, I'm happy in general. I can definitely see some things that can be improved. Let's see. Mr. Landfill says, I know just enough Chaldean to be dangerous. Chaldean, I don't even know if that's the Persian thing. Rusty Shackelford says, yep, more fiberglass is the answer to all my problems. LOL. LOL. I'll have to either dry dock it or quickly do fiberglass work at low tide. Doesn't resin set underwater? No, not so good. Yeah, that's a big thing to figure out how to fiberglass. Okay, Lois, on a little bit on your question about how my heart feels. So a few weeks ago, I did that triathlon, right? And before that, I would say my heart was feeling kind of heavier. But I was around all those positive people for a day and doing the triathlon. It was such a positive experience. I loved it. It was really good. Like everyone's all high-fiving and being super cheesy and being all like positive, and it was great. And that has left me feeling much more positive just about the world and myself and all this stuff, which is really good. And that's been kind of a lasting effect from that. And then I met this girl a couple weeks ago, and she was an athlete, like training like hardcore for stuff. And this isn't anything that ended up going anywhere. Don't get all excited. I only talked with her for a few days and then she ghosted because that's what people do. I mean, probably she's just busy training for a thing, whatever. Anyway, but just like talking to someone who was so motivated, and that had a really positive effect on me too. And it makes me think I really need to have someone in my life who is motivated like that. Because in the past, I dated athletes, and then I don't know, I just started dating normal people after that, and I've been in, just around normal people who were like, the couch is comfortable, let's watch some TV, and I'm like, hey, let's go do something, and I'm like, God, you always have to be doing something. Can't you just like chill out and relax? And that's kind of discouraging for me. I find that a little discouraging. So I feel like, so it was really cool talking to this lady. It was only a couple of days. But it was just very encouraging and very, very motivating to talk to someone and just have that presence of like, just a very motivated person. So I really want to have more motivated people in my life in that way. Let's see. Doug's getting ready to sail up the eastern seaboard. So Doug from SV Seeker is going to sail up the East Coast. That's cool. Okay, Kusa is used to replace old transoms. I see. Roddy Piper, glasses. So true is a fight with the glasses with most people. Yeah. The crazy thing is like, okay, well, when you start seeing what's going on in the world, and then you talk to normal people who always say the same things that they've heard on TV and the internet and videos and radio. No, we don't do radio. Do we still do radio? Anyway, they get these same talking points, and you can talk to like 50 different people and they'll all say the exact same thing. And it's just kind of creepy, and you can't explain it to them. I mean, occasionally you can find someone who's kind of like ready to pay attention. But most people, when you're like, look, you're saying the exact same thing as these other 47 people, like word for word. Don't you think that's a little creepy? What are you talking about? Oh, you're one of those weird guys who's like a hippie, crazy, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all right, never mind. Yeah. Lois, are you in Indiana? Send me an email. Maybe you can go sailing with my wife and I. I want to come sailing. Yeah, your life is awesome. As it is, don't let someone in that will ruin it, but also be open to trusting people. Yeah, exactly. That's a tough one. Because like I would love to have someone else living in my house who I get along with and is positive and like adds to me and I add to her. But like most people I meet are the opposite, they want to take away, make everything harder and make everything more frustrating. So yeah, it's like being open to the right person while also just not getting frustrated by the many wrong people. It's kind of a tricky thing, but you just gotta do your thing, and hope that things work out eventually. Rusty is right. Lois says, I love that you want high vibe people. I don't know what vibing means. I just want someone who's going to be like, hey, Jaimie, you want to go outside and swim a lap around the island? And I'll be like, oh, yes, let's do it. Or like, let's just do stuff, do something. Not that I never relax. Like I definitely relax and chill out, but I don't want to spend my day just like sitting around watching TV. I want to feel like I'm being productive in some way and do stuff and be active. And I would love to be with someone who's like totally with me on let's improve our life somehow. Let's make improving our life a workout. Let's dig this here and move that, and like somehow use our own strength and brains and all our problem solving abilities to somehow make the world around us a better place. That's the coolest thing. I think that's the coolest thing. I've only ever went to a big shopping center one time. I figure if you've seen one, you've seen them all. You've seen them all. I've only gone to a big shopping center one time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. When I used to go shopping when I was a kid, and my mom would drag us to the mall, I felt like the air was suffocating. It was horrible. Like I was just Padam says, there's a floating island off the Panama coast that has been shut down and evacuated the whole island population to the mainland. Just on the news last week. Like a whole city, the sea level too high. Wait. Why would the sea level matter if it's a floating island? Or are you talking about an island that's not floating that had to be evacuated because the sea level was too high? Which is weird because the sea level is not that high right now. Like it was much higher. Like last year, it was really high for a while. Like the high tides were crazy high. Right now, like the highest high tide is not nearly as high as it was like a year ago. Because there's all kinds of weird things with the tides. Like they go up and down, but then there's the second thing that's kind of, so you get like tides that like build and then shrink. But then even with all of that, the whole thing will get shifted up or down for like months at a time, like this long-term thing. Yeah, the tides are kind of crazy. I mean, they're not crazy until you really look at the details of how they're working and you realize how complicated. There's so many things affecting the tides, Lois, you never rest? No TV, always active and motivated. Well, maybe you need to take a rest once in a while. I definitely rest sometimes, but yeah, I get antsy if I'm resting in the middle of the day. But like, in the evening, You know what? When I talk about resting, it's probably different than other people's resting. Like I don't actually sit down to eat dinner. So right here, this is where I eat dinner usually. My my fancy counter thing here that I made. I love this thing. It's great. It's got all kinds of like storage things down here, and my kids usually sit on the other side there, and then I'll just stand here. Although one of my daughters likes to stand here over here with me and eat. So I guess I don't really sit down. I don't like couches or anything like that. But yeah, I do like to relax sometimes. Oh, let's see. Kusa board, high density polyurethane foam reinforced with fiberglass. Oh, I see what it is. Our panels are the perfect plywood replacement. $382, 4x8 by 3/4. Oh my God, I can't afford that. I mean, unless it's for something really, really important. But like, I guess I'm thinking like of building a whole boat with that. Would take a lot of sheets. That would cost a lot. Sean, my internet won't let me see your 411. I don't know what that means. You guys are talking about something important though. Floating island. Oh, Mr. Landfill, I cannot click on that YouTube link right now because I'm doing this. But yeah, I'm gonna try to look up this floating island that's been abandoned off the coast of Panama. Shouldn't be that hard to look up, right? Thanks for the link, Mr. Landfill. Pretty sad. Oh, do I even want to watch it? It's gonna be sad. I don't want to watch sad people. Jaimie, thanks for sharing your positive, productive vibe with us. Ha ha! Oh, you tricky little bugger. Yeah. Okay. You know what weirds me out about the vibe thing, or I guess like throws me off. It's like when you meet a girl and she just wants to vibe, and you're like, can you say something that means something? No, I just want to like vibe, man. I just want to vibe. It's like, well, do you have like dreams and aspirations? Do you have plans for the future? Do you want to have children? Do you want to like do anything? Like what? Like, oh no, I just want to vibe. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into here. If we're just vibing, you gotta be more than just vibing, you know. Anyway, advice meaning towards vice, meaning less self-reliant. It makes sense that someone like you would not like advice. But if I could give you a bit of advice, all right, Mike. Well, what kind of advice are you about to dump on me here? Oh, joking. Oh, very funny. I thought I was going to get some important advice here. That might have been good. Oh, well. Mr. Landfill says, as rising sea levels threaten their island home off the coast of Panama, the Guna indigenous people are being evacuated by their government. Huh. I think you misunderstood rest versus veg. Ah, yes, Lois, right. Rest versus veg. Vegging out is one thing. Sometimes my rest, what was it, yesterday? Yesterday after I was, after I did my daily 2 hours of digging, I came in and like laid on the floor with a fan blowing on me. And I said to my daughter, if I ever finish digging and I'm not laying on the floor looking pathetic, you need to make me do more. But yeah. My sailboat, Sean says, my sailboat repairs are very important. It's where my steering column connects to the rudder post. My sailboat repairs are very important. It's where my steering column connects to the rudder post. That is an important spot. Okay, Mr. Landfill, Associated Press, community off coast of Panama forced to evacuate as rising sea levels threaten their island. So it's not a floating island, right? Like rising sea levels wouldn't mess up a floating island because the floating island would just continue to float on top of the rising water, right? Search that. All right, I'll search something. You wanting children equals dating someone half your age. Yeah, whatever. Let's see, where are we going here? I mean, I do already have children, but I would love to have more children. That would be awesome. And guys have kind of cheat codes going with children, because we can have children when we're real old. Although I wouldn't want to have children as my health was deteriorating. Like I don't feel like I'm winding down in life at all yet. So I would totally still have kids now. But if I was at a point where I was like, feeling old, I wouldn't want to have kids, because then I'll be all old when I have them, Anyway. Yes, Lois, I would totally have more kids. I'd love to have more kids. Kids are awesome. But who knows how that'll go. All right. It looks like I'm at the end of what are these called? Comments here. And I got some food sitting right there. I can go eat. You guys are probably tired of hearing me ramble on and on and on about nonsense. So I'm going to get out of here in a minute. I'm going to look up Kusa boards, and I'm going to look up these people who got kicked off their island. And if anyone has any last minute comments or questions, barf them out right now. Jaimie, you legend. Thanks for the stories and wisdom. Well, thank you, Mr. Rusty Shackelford. I'll try not to let that go to my head. Cheers from Austria or Australia? Oh, it's got to be Australia, right? Cheers, mate. That's totally Australia. Enjoy your feed. I will do my best to enjoy my feed. Enjoy your food. I just recently found your channel. Glad I did. You lead an interesting life. Well, thanks, Mike Freeman. I will do my best to be worth watching. All right. And I hear my walkie-talkie going. Someone must need something. All right, I'm getting out of here. Everyone have an excellent morning or evening or whatever you got, wherever you are.